in Herbalife, but we run very separate organizations, and we come together and we're like, okay, so what are our similarities in the things that we've learned in this journey? And so I was trying to think of this quote forever, so I just want to say shout out to Super Mario McKinley, because we called him, we're like, what is this quote? He's like, Blair, methods change, but concepts stay the same. And we're like, that's it, that's us, that's Herbalife, that's the times right now. Methods may continuously change all of the time, but concepts stay the same. So we really wanted to be here and go, what concepts are so similar, even though we come from different backgrounds. I'm from a small town in Minnesota. He grew up in Houston, and he's lived in Los Angeles for most of his life. My business is in Wisconsin. And here we are, I run nutrition clubs, and we have a nutrition club and online weight loss challenges, and he's in social media, and they're personal development, heart and soul, and we're like, wow, this could be so different, yet they both work, and that's the beautiful thing about it. So when we were talking about this, we really were like, what is similar between our businesses, and what's similar in our journeys? And we talked a lot about how we very much we create intention, we don't leave things to chance. So in the next 50 minutes, we're going to share a lot about, are you creating intention with what you're doing, or are you leaving it to chance? So are you leaving it to chance or intention?
And it's a game of chance. It's like a roll of a dice. Am I going to roll the dice with my life? Am I going to roll the dice with my business? Or I'm going to be set a powerful intention, and am I going to live out that intention? Whatever your results are, that's ultimately what your intention is, whether you're aware of it or not.
So we came up with 5 different ways that we live with intention. And there's multiple, but what we found, what were common in our journeys and that we thought were powerful to share with all of you were 5 different ways to be clear on living with intention. And again, these are just ours. There's probably multiple, but the intention of this is we created our own before the call. So my intention for the call is to create awareness potentially in somebody's life where they can look at a situation in a different way, so they can go about it a different way to create a new result in their business and their personal life and their spiritual life, whatever it is that they're here looking for, that potentially they can find just a little bit or maybe a lot of it of what they're looking for, or maybe they didn't even know that they were looking for. So do you want to maybe share what your intention for this call was?
And my intention for this call was so that everybody leaves this call knowing their exact next step and feel good about it in the process.
I just really want to take a moment because this is so big for you. I'm so excited. Someone described this once that my husband is abstract random, and they described me of concrete sequential. So my husband is the huge concept and the big visionary and the bright colors and everything, splatter painted around the walls, and it's so exciting. And I was like, I feel so motivated, but I don't know what to go left, right, up or down. I don't know what's happening. I'm just so excited. So can we leave some people with some steps, some action, and some clarity? And so I really hope that with all different types of personalities, we're going to hit it together.
We're going to hit everybody.
We're going to hit everybody. That is our intention.
Yeah.
Okay,
Our intention is to hit everybody.
We're passing the class that we just made yesterday. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to start with a very intention about, and this gets to anything, about your personal life and your relationships and your business. Again, we hope that, I know Garrain talks a lot about whole life success. So again, our attention is to create something for all areas of your life, really towards your business, but again, all parts of it. Okay,
yeah.
Take it over.
So number 1, write this down, commitment. And I know you hear commitment all the time, but I want to share commitment in a way that gives you context, and don't mind the gardeners outside, but I want to share commitment in a way that gives you context so you know the importance and the value that it creates long term. So one thing that I noticed growing up is that I would always see people They would be successful really fast, but they couldn't hold it. They would make money really fast, but it was like, how long can you keep it? They couldn't hold whatever that thing was. That's almost like that little kid excitement when they get a new toy. It's like, oh my God, I got a new toy. And then next thing you know, you have a room full of toys that you were ungrateful for, that you were just excited for the moment. And the way I break down commitment is the foundation that you build anything on top of. The weaker your commitment, the easier it is to be distracted by everything else, because everything else has your power. But the stronger your commitment and the more that you focus on your commitment, that in itself is what gives you staying power. So one thing that I noticed is, even when I was in modeling and when I was in music, is that there were people that were committed to the long game. Like, I'm not talking about for 90 days or anything. They were committed 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, but there was a long game commitment. And they would always focus on their long game. And I didn't understand why I kept quitting things, why I kept falling back, why I kept getting stuck. And all of that was in direct proportion to my level of ask, my level of commitment. So you create the commitment, and the commitment unlocks all of the tests that's designed to test you in your life to see if what you want is what you really want. I'm going to say that one more time. You create the commitment in this business, in your relationships, and getting your results, whatever your commitment is. This is what I'm committed to. I'm powerfully committed to creating an ideal lifestyle for me and my family, utilizing the Herbalife nutrition business. Boom. You make that commitment. If it is a powerful commitment, it unlocks the equal of its resistance. Get this, not to make you a victim to it, but if you're committed to the process, it unlocks the equal of its resistance to test you. And inside of what tests you, it shapes you and molds you so that you can be strong enough to sustain at the next level. That's why they don't put first graders in fifth grade. You must be committed to the level that you're in. And then there's tests along the way. Now, your level of commitment is the power source. And once you have that, the stronger your commitment, it will demagnetize all other distractions. So when you give in to many distractions outside, oh, I'm going to quit, oh, I'm going to do this, oh, I'm going to do that, I can tell you, because your commitment level is weak. So when you strengthen it and you strong it and you stay rooted inside of your commitment, it literally demagnetizes those other distractions. And that is what gives you staying power through rain, sleet, snow, no matter the weather, breakup, somebody passes away, and you just stand strong because you got to constantly keep reminding yourself, what am I committed to? What am I committed to? And I'm going to close with this. There were times I knew, even when I was living in my car, even when I couldn't figure it out, even when I had to pay the government like $200,000 because I was in debt over time, I always had to remind myself, what am I doing this for? What am I committed to? I'm committed to providing my daughter with schooling before she even graduates. I'm committed to relieving my mom, just supporting her because she didn't like her job. And it's like, I had to remind myself every day, what am I committed to? Even when I'm stressed out, what am I committed to? I'm committed to my commitment. Write that down, because that's going to save you a lot of time and stress. I'm committed to my commitment. So that is what gets you up in the morning. That is what has you take your extra tablet when you don't want to. That is when you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are influencing you to do something else. Your commitment to what you're wanting to create for your life, that is what keeps you moving forward. As long as you stay embedded in that commitment, you will have staying power. And so now I want to go to the next thing.
Well, before you go there, I feel like, so it's like when you hear the intensity that there's nothing he leaves to chance. It's his commitment, it's his intention, it's what is his anchor every single day. And so many times I look back and it's like, in the last 7 years, and it was like, what was my commitment? And I'll be honest, it was like, I'm so grateful for the nutrition club because it was the one thing I was committed to every single day. If I felt like it, if it was snowing, if there was a death, if there was a wedding, if there was a breakup, it didn't matter. Like, this was my commitment to those four walls, 7 a.m. to when we closed every single day, Monday through Saturday or Monday through Sunday. I was so committed to it, whether I felt like it or not. I didn't know, maybe potentially in the beginning, that you could leave so much to chance. But it's like when you're married to something that you sign a lease on, when you're married to something that you have a contract on for 3 years or for 1 year, whatever it is. And
when you're married,
so when you have that level of commitment, it's like, there was no way I could leave my business to chance. Again, I didn't have a plan B. It's like Tony Robbins talks about, if you want to take that island, you have to burn the boat. So I was like, this is it. I don't have a plan B. When someone's like, if this thing doesn't work out, what are you going to do? And I was like, it is going to work out. As I was committed, there was no question. And so again, I just want to commend you and highlight the points that you had, that it was like you had commitment outside of yourself. So it was to your mom, to your daughter, to your family, to all these things that didn't rise and fall just on your financial or your personal gain. And within that, you also had those things. But I think it was not just within Garrain, it was also outside of himself. It was bigger than him. So thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so leaving it to chance or intention. So ability to remain a student. This is point number 2, the ability to remain a student. I would say that, I was doing a call last week and they said, like, what is probably your number one tip for someone who is really looking to grow their business? And I said, remain a student. And when we say, we don't like to use absolutes, but I'm constantly learning. Like, we go anywhere and I'm constantly looking for that thing. I'll tell Garrain, I was like, I'm always looking for like those 2 words. And I'm always alert and I'm always open. The more that I grow as a human being, the less that I know. It's like, oh my gosh. Pins off. I'm so committed. My intention is to learn from everybody. So many new distributors have the most brilliant ideas in the business. So many new distributors come in and they're like kids, because their imagination, they don't know the rules, or they haven't experienced someone saying no or rejection, or someone returning their products, or a distributor quitting it. And it's like the sky is the limit. And I was like, put me around someone who is just ignorance on fire, so excited, so hungry to grow. Committed to learning is I also want to be around people who have gone further in all areas of life than I have. So whether that be being around people who are 30K, being around the Chairman's Club and the Founders Circle, being around people who, I have 8 frontline tab team members. My goal is 10. How do I get around someone who has 15, right? How do I get around somebody who has created the level of business that I'm looking towards? And it's just constant, we always talk about, we don't want to be the biggest fish in the pond. What's the fun in that? So it's learning from the new fish in the pond and getting on the big fish in them, and humble enough to say, I don't know, or I'm looking, or asking the questions. We go anywhere and it's like, I could be in a conversation and I'm literally on my phone taking notes from this person. He's laughing at me, of what they're saying, because I never know what that one thing is going to be. So my intention in conversations, I love listening, because my intention is constantly, what can I learn and what can I serve? So I'm not just sitting here taking from everybody and absorbing everything, but I'm also, my intention when listening in a conversation is, how can I also support you? Because I, would want to always be conscious of How can I serve my gifts to the other students who are potentially also seeking? So I don't leave conversations to chance, that I just pass them by, or I'm not present enough to hear what they have to say. Or I don't leave them to chance either, because what if I have that one thing that maybe they're searching for, and I could support them in whatever they're looking for. So to be present in conversations with anybody, regardless of their walks through life, or level in the business, or how long they've been in the business, it's like we all have so much to contribute to the world. You know, one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000 to flight, two people put together can amplify, can multiply. And to being able to say, like, this is an area of, potentially my business that I'm looking to grow. So picking up that phone and saying, hey, you are masterful at this. Would you mind if I ask you some questions? And is there somewhere that maybe you're looking for in your business that we've mastered that we can contribute to you? And just looking and searching and seeking. And again, it's like, if you leave it to chance that you're going to find the answer, or create an intention of finding the answer, but always being willing to be a student.
And so something I wanted to add, when she says she's a student, she really is. One time I was talking to her and I was just telling her about something I was doing. By the time I was done with the conversation, she had a PowerPoint. I was like, what's this? She was like, that's your new training. And I was like, yo, how'd you do that? Like, literally, by the time I was done talking about something, she was like, I don't know. But it's like, she's a constant student, and she's always, here's the most important thing, she applies at a rate that I've never seen any other human. She just applies. She gets a result before she'll learn something, and then she'll apply it, and then it'll produce a result. And so she's really intentional on receiving that information, and that has taught me a lot about just how to be just a better student, not be the class clown or something like that sometimes. So thank you for that.
I think I heard it from J.J. Mikowski. He said something along the lines, and if I messed up the quote, I apologize, but he said something along the lines that it's I'm going to mess this up. So this is the Cliff Notes version of what he said about somebody that has the ability to repeat all of these quotes and all of this knowledge, but they don't apply it to create the results in their life. He's like, that's potentially the worst thing that you can do. And again, not verbatim of what he said, but however, it's like, I don't want to have a wealth of knowledge and not do anything with it. When we read books, when we learn something new, it's like, it'll take me so long to get through a book, because I stop the book, I re-listen, I implement it, I have to re-listen to it again, implement it again, because I'm not just a student to hold on to the information, I'm here to create. My intention is to take it and to apply it. Take it and apply it. Take it and apply it over and over and over again, and being willing to do that. So it's like, I'm so grateful if you read 10 books this month or 50 books this month. And it was like, what did you learn, and what were your results from retaining that? And sometimes you might not always be able to implement the information right away. However, what is your intention of learning all this information? What are you going to do with it?
So basically what she's saying is, knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power.
There we go. See? I love that. That was good. That was good. Okay, point number 3. That's on to you.
So, how can I say this in the basically, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world today. A lot. And everybody knows it. You can't hide from everything that's going on. However, one thing I do know is the people who adapt the most will thrive in any scenario.
Wow. Say that again for the people in the back. Blending shakes.
The people who adapt the most during any time. I forgot what I said. It was like on the spot. What did I say? Oh, people who adapt the most are the ones who will thrive.
Yes.
And that is a proven fact. That is like, nobody has an iPhone 1 right now. It's like iPhone 11 and it just keeps on evolving. So why as humans would we keep the same kind of mindset, the same attitude, the same way we think about something, the same way we take things personally and not evolve? Well, what happens when you don't evolve your phone? Some magical way, the screen cracks or some weird stuff happens to your phone. It's kind of like keeping up with the times. So in times of challenge, in times of change, always say this in your mind: change brings growth. Change brings growth. If I'm not continuously changing, evolving, if I'm not continuously evolving, just know that there's going to be some kind of something that happens in your life that kind of give you a nudge that says, hey, time to grow. And then that nudge is going to get a little bit stronger when you stay the same. It's going to be like, hey, time to grow. And then something else. And hey, I'm trying to get your attention. It is time for you to evolve. You're no longer in the first grade anymore. You, like all your other friends have gone on to like all these other grades and all these other levels. It's something about you. You must let go of the attitude, the ego, the pride, the whatever is that you feel is holding you back. The hot air balloon doesn't leave the ground until you release the weight. And that's the weight of your past, the weight of your excuses, the weight of gossiping, whatever it is. It is time to evolve. And without the mindset that is focused on continuous evolution, even Uncle Jim Rome, by the way, I call him Uncle. Uncle Jim Rome says the essence of life is growth. The essence of life is growth. That was my best Jim Rome impersonation. But the evolution, what is the 2.0 version of you? What is the 2.2 version of you? What is the 2.5? Even if you can try and think about it. Somebody asked me, they were like, who do you look up to? Like, what's the person that inspires you the most? And I was like, me. They were like, that's so vain. I was like, no, I'm not done. I said, me 5 years from now. And they were like, so what's that like? I'm like, I don't know. Because 9 years ago, I was living in my car. And now we're here. So imagine 5 years from now, just the thought of you 5 years from now while pursuing continuous growth. I'm so inspired by 5 years from now, Garrain, because whatever that is going to cause me to grow. He's going to be the amazing father, already is the amazing father to our future children. You know what I'm saying? But like when I think about that, it has my brain being stimulated. So allowing yourself to evolve and thinking about maybe the things that are happening right now when it comes to challenging times, maybe it's for me to reflect on the inside so that I can look at my life a little different. Maybe I can evolve from the way I'm taking this certain situation. And one thing that will always protect you, when you dig into your heart, the heart is the most powerful frequency in the world. The EKGs of the heart is just like the sound waves are crazy. So when you actually use it, it supports you in anything that you do. How can you find your fun? Something that actually makes you happy, not for business, but for your own soul. What makes me happy? Walking, playing in the rain, talking to people, swimming, whatever it is. When you do that and you bring that to other people, there's the overflow that you first give to yourself. So finding your fun, focusing on evolving will support you during any challenge.
I love that. So would you be willing to share maybe an example in your business about how you had, like when you were talking about at the beginning, where you had opportunities to learn and you chose not to? There's something in your business specifically that maybe you can relate to this point for your business? Absolutely.
So in my business, I remember they even said to me, they were like, oh, you can create your ideal lifestyle And I was like, what does that mean? I'd never heard anybody talk about that. And this was like, I was probably maybe a world team member. And I was like, man, I love pandas. I like really love pandas. And I love superheroes. How can I make that make sense? Urban heroes, it's something that's been inside of me my whole entire life. I started talking about it, but it was coming from like little kid Garrain, 5-year-old Garrain, and that was the energy that people were getting. Now, times that, there was a challenging time because while I was world team member, I was still living in my car. Get this. I was still living out of my car, my storage unit, trying to figure out life. So I know that I had to level up somehow. And I remember that I wasn't listening at first and nobody was coming into the business and I wasn't like adapting. I was trying to bring my old life into Herbalife, but obviously that didn't work because my old life wasn't working. And, and I heard Enrique Carrillo one time, he was on Mark and Jill's call. I didn't listen to nothing he said. He was like, wah, 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 wah. But the last minute, this was a world team member, so I was hard-headed. He goes, be the distributor that you want your distributors to be. And I was like, I gossip all the time. I had a big ego. I talked about people behind their back, And I was like, I wouldn't even want to be on my own team. So in that moment, I chose to evolve. I was studying Jill. I was studying Mark. I was studying the people around the office. And I was like, you know what? They got a better pen. They're making more money. So maybe I can take on their attributes. Maybe I can take on their leadership. And I chose to evolve. And it's been 9 years of that evolution. And it's played out the way it is now.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. Be the distributor you want to be. Physically, spiritually, in the business, outside of the business. So thank you so much for sharing. And I would say that you're being that. Good job.
I'll take that one.
Oh my gosh. Very good. Okay, so we're on to point number 4. So to recap so far, so living by intention and not chance. Our first point was commitment. Our second one was the ability to remain a student. And Garrain just went over adapting and finding your fun. So people who adapt are the ones who thrive. Finding your fun within the business. And one thing that I wanted to say about that is that Herbalife has the system for us, and you get to figure out how to be fun and find your flow within the structure of that. It's like, again, methods may be different, but concepts stay the same. We both use the products, we both wear the brand, we both talk to people. So again, it's like, how do you find your structure and flow within that? And being authentically who you are, all of you, and just finding your path. And then within that, it's like you had 100% freedom to be Garrain Jones, and I had the 100% freedom to be myself, and figure out how to navigate and build a business through that structure. I didn't have to figure out the products. I didn't have to figure out how they were going to get to my customers. I didn't have to figure out how I was going to get my check. My intention was how do I get the products in people's mouths, and how do I have the most fun doing that until. So the fourth point that we're going to go to, and we only have 5, so we only have 2 more, is living with a purpose. So many times I would go to events and I would hear people be like, what's your why? What's your why? What's your why? And I would just sit in the back, and it made no sense to me. And it made sense for so many other people, but for me, for whatever reason, it just did not connect. Because many times I would listen to people on stage talking about what's their why, and they're like, my why is for my parents. It's like, I was 16. I hadn't talked to my parents in 6 years, so I was like, I don't even know what they're doing. I'm not doing this for my parents. People would be like, I'm doing this for my kids. My kids are my why. And I was like, got no kids, don't even have a dog at this point. And I was like, I'm literally in this business because I want to make $5,000 a month, and I want to be a global expansion team member. That was my why when I started this business. So when people were up there, I had this really hard time relating. And so in the beginning, that was my why. And people would be like, that's it? Like, your why is to make $5,000 a month? And I was like, yeah, I'm here to make money, because if I make $5,000 a month, I'm going to be able to pay my bills and I'm going to have money left over after the month. This is what I came for. And so in the beginning, people had a hard time relating to me. Why do you think that was? Because they were probably much further in the business than I was. I was brand new. I just was here to make money. I wasn't here to impact the world and change the world and retire my mom and do all these things. I was like, I'm here to make money. And so I think the thing that my intention of saying this is one, I came into the business with an intention to make $5,000 a month. And over time, it evolved as I evolved. And it kept growing as I kept growing. And we're going to get into this in a little more in just a second. But there was a point in time that all of a sudden I was making $5,000 a month. I hit global expansion team. And so once I had gotten there, I was like, now what? Now I was just kind of like, what do I do now? I checked all the boxes. I came here for what I wanted to do, and I still felt unsatisfied. And this is so funny because this was the LBW. Garrain was this guest speaker at our LBW. I think I was a global expansion team member. This is why this is so funny. Okay, he was a guest speaker. I was a global expansion team member, and he said this on stage, and he said, money starts and stops, but transformation never ends. And that was the one thing that got me. I was like, okay, money starts and stops, but transformation never ends. And I was like, so what's the next level of transformation? And I really sat with that for a moment, and I thought about it, and I said, what's my purpose in life? You know, maybe we have a why of why we're in Herbalife, and it didn't connect with me. And then when I heard somebody ask the question is, what is my purpose? So much bigger than this. Because I'm here. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful to have this company. I'm so grateful for the what it's provided. And I also get to live a life of what am I going to do with the success that's created? What is my purpose? Because there's always going to be another pin. There's always going to be another frontline active supervisor that I could go get. There's always a nutrition club that I could go open. There's always a new market. There's always someone to talk to. And I was like, if I'm always playing the game of Herbalife, I'm just in the game of Herbalife, but what is the big picture? And I took a step back for a moment and I looked at that and I said, what is my purpose in life? Because we all have one. Because I believe, my personal belief is, you know, we can all have our own beliefs. Mine, disclaimer, is this one's Blair's. Because I really believe that we're all destined for greatness. And so what is that for you? What is that for me? What is that for you? What is that for our family? What is that for our friends? And so I had to really get clear on that. And my purpose is I just want to continue to be the best version of myself. I want to constantly evolve so I'm able to connect and relate and communicate with more people in the world. The more that I evolve and become more, just like Garrain was talking about, who am I going to be in 10 years? You know, look at what's been created. I was like, wow, I take a step back and I was like, in 7 years, 20K, 1 diamond, holy crap, more diamonds on the way, more Ks on the way. We did this in this amount of time. Where the heck am I going to be in 7 years from now? But more importantly, who am I going to be in 7 years from now? Because I know that the better that I become, the more that I'm able to relate and connect with the masses. I know for certain why I was dealt the hands I was dealt in life, you know, emancipating myself at 16, you know, living through domestic violence, drugs and alcohol, you know, living in my nutrition club for a year. I know why I was given those hands. And the reason for that is because I had to go through those experiences in order to relate with the people I'm about to grow. If I didn't have those experiences, there's no way I could show people what's possible on the other side. There's no way I could have compassion where people are at in their lives. There's no way that I could connect and have relatability with so many different walks of life. And if I don't, or I choose that if I'm just going to keep ascending, if I'm going to keep evolving, if I'm going to keep becoming the best version of myself, I know that my ability to serve others to their what they need is only going to continue to create a bigger result in the world, create more financial freedom for people, to support more people with their health, to support more people, whatever that they're looking for in so many different ways, right? So one, it's like, who am I? What example am I being? What example am I becoming? Am I walking the walk? Do I feel the best in my skin? Do I love my product results? Am I committed to my word? Am I impeccable with my word for agreements? Am I able to not take things personally? Am I able to reach within inside myself and really get clear on why did that trigger me? And really, because I'm here to live a life of 100% responsibility. People always talk about, if it's to be, it's up to me. However I want to feel, that's up to me. Whatever I want to create is up to me. And it's not through, this is what I used to think it was, through hard work, through grit, through tear, and I was like, it could be that. That's one way of doing something. Or how can I continue walking through this evolution and maybe going about it being a different way, being and seeing things from a different perspective, that someone didn't do something to me, that why is this happening to me? Because these were things that I said. Why does this person feel that way about me? What did I do? Instead of taking a step back and say, what is that within myself that's coming up for me that maybe I can look at a little differently to get myself, so I can get to know myself in a different way, so I could handle that situation a little bit differently next time. That, we always talk, I shouldn't say we. I have expressed to my husband that there are levels in the marketing plan that I want to achieve. And there are also levels in the marketing plan within myself. It's called my soul marketing plan, my soul plan, that I'm working on within myself. And that one is inner peace. That one is patience. That one is compassion. That one is understanding. That one is responding without reacting. That one is taking 100% responsibility. And as I progress in that way, I know that that's how I'm going to progress with my goals, because my soul's evolving, myself is evolving. I show up differently in the world, so I'm going to get a different result. I'm going to attract different people. So my intention is what am I walking into? What is my purpose? What am I waking up and living for every day? Who am I being in my business? Who am I being to my team? Who am I being to our tab team? Who am I being within Herbalife? Now, I was talking to one of my mentors, and she's talking about, Blair, I really look at the company, and I said, how am I being a shepherd to Herbalife? How am I making sure that I'm protecting the company? And she's like, it's not just about my organization anymore, but it's about my organization and something much bigger called Herbalife. And I was like, what that must take for someone to be a shepherd within the company, not just thinking from I, but so much bigger about we, and about so much bigger about this company is going to be here after we're gone. How are we leaving it for our future distributors, our future family members, friends, and children that are going to be in this business after? How are we leaving the company? Well, that takes a certain type of human being within the company to create that level of result or that level of respect within the business. Okay, baby, we're moving on to the last point. Are you ready?
That was fire. Well, can we take a moment of silence? I'm about to take around this collection plate because you was preaching, girl. Y'all, that was fire. Sometimes I get so fired up.
You're so funny. Collection plate.
But y'all know what I'm talking about. Well, some of y'all. But
South.
Look, yes, Blair, yes, honey, yes.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
But no, that was so fire. Even how you spoke about just living as your fullest self.
Right.
Because you can be putting all these things out. It's like, my purpose is to save the kids and go here, my friend. And there's always something out. But what if? And I just wanted to highlight what she said. What if? Fullest expression, like living life without regrets.
Or even, have you ever met someone that you've this I'll speak for mine. I've met people that I've looked up to, and I meet them and I talk to them, and as I get to talking to them, I was like, wow, you are not the persona or person that that you had portrayed or that I had pictured, and it's just kind of off. And I was like, I want to be able to be a full expression of myself, and that's who I am in all areas of my life, not just here I am and here's a picture of me, but this is like what you see is what you get. And then it's like to be that expression all of the time wherever I go. Like that's just, to me, that's the most important, because I've been in that place of fake it till you make it. I've been in that place where it's like just not doing well personally but putting on that face. And it's like, what if I'm able to work through that stuff so I can fully be myself?
So that is so good. And now we're going to go into our last point, which is creating a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year goal. And I'll put this in the perspective. Listen, the educators did that to us when we were in kindergarten. We just didn't realize it. They even told you, like me, I'm class of 98. And they're like, when you're in kindergarten, you're class of 98. They gave you a 12-year goal without you even knowing it. And so what did it do? Kindergarten, class of 98, yay! First grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. And what did it do? It kept you on the path all the way through, even when you didn't even know language. It took everybody from every background, every money status, every nationality, every religion, and then all of a sudden, ABCs, language. But think about this. So your 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan is you just manually doing what the educators did to us when we were little kids, that keeps us on the path of the goal. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's going to be very profound. Write this down. There is more power in the ocean than in the rivers. I'll make this make sense.
Good.
There is more power in the ocean than in the rivers. Most people is like, I'm going to do this, and I got to do this, and I got to do this, and I'm having a baby, and I got a family, I got to do this. And they're focusing on all these different things, and it's draining all of their power instead of focusing on their 5-year goal or their 10-year goal or their 15-year, whatever that is. The bigger goal is like the Pacific Ocean. The power in the ocean is what feeds all of the rivers. So when you're focused on the ocean, it's feeding all the things that you're doing. And that's how you maintain your energy. That's how you maintain your focus. That's how you maintain your resilience. That's how you maintain your staying power. Because again, we loop right back around to being committed to the bigger picture. So when you're committed to President's Team, what does that represent to you, for your family, for you, for your soul, for like whatever it is that you're creating in your world? And then you focus on whatever has the most emotional content that's connected to you. That's where your power is. I'm going to say it again. There's more power in the ocean than there is in the rivers. So what do you want to be? Who do you want to become in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Just write it down. It might even happen a completely different way. But one thing, when you, not in your phone, when you take your pen and put it on paper, something happens, and when you keep saying, I wonder whatever happened, and they just magically call you, it's not an accident. You know what I'm saying? So you can actually put that to good use by writing down your goals and then focusing on your goals and focusing on your commitments. And that takes us right back around to what is your intention for your life? What is your intention for your business? You rattle this pot of business, personal development, soul-loving gumbo, and you're going to have a nice and tasty meal for the rest of your life.
I love that. So sometimes I feel like we can get so wrapped up in the mundane things. It's like you wake up, you go to the nutrition club, you serve shakes, you go home, you get on the calls, you have calls, then there's LDW, then there's promotional calls, then you start a new distributor, then you have to follow up with your clients, and it's like you get so wrapped up sometimes, or I got so wrapped up sometimes in being in like the mundane day-to-day over and over, you know, going to the fit club, going, you know, doing online challenges, and I was so focused right here. It's like I had such a narrow focus, and the ability to go, you know, sometimes, you know, I'll be totally transparent. It's like some days I got tired, and some days it was like, oh, what am I doing this for? And oh my gosh, another telegram, another email, another call, and it's like, but by being able to take a step back and go, okay, what am I doing this for? It's like projecting out, and then it's like, okay, in 3 years I'm gonna be here. In 5 years I'm gonna be here. In 10 years I'm gonna be here. Now I get why I'm doing this stuff right now, because this is what's leading to the ocean. This is what's leading to the 3-year plan, in the 5-year plan, in the 10-year plan. If I'm sticking right here, it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it's like, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what month it is. I don't know what time it is. And it's like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, and I'm just going in circles. It's like, no. It's like, but every single thing, every single step is with an intention. It's like, how do you get to the top of a staircase? One step at a time. I don't have to see the whole staircase. It doesn't have to make sense to me right now. All I have to see is the next step and the next step. And then sometimes it's like when there's so many things coming at me, it's like all I have to see is the next step, because this is what's leading to my 5-year plan. This is what's leading to my 10-year plan. And it's like so many times we'll come back together and be like, okay, let's revisit these goals. Is this still what we want? Are we on track for that? Where do we need to make some adjustments? Does this make sense of do we need to keep doing these things? Because is it leading us there? Do we need to make new goals? Is this not even what we want to do anymore? And then we go back into the playing field. It's like, you know, then we're on the field, then we come back and we have a timeout. We're like, okay, how are we doing in the game? How are we doing? And sometimes even when you're such an achiever, I feel like it can be, we feel like it's really important for us to have a target.
And you can't hit a target you don't have.
Can't hit a target you don't have. So it's like if we just continuously keep those targets in front of us, it's like, I know what I'm working for. And maybe some of you've hit it. Like in the beginning, my target was global expansion team, and that's all I wanted. And I was great for that. And I didn't want to make another target. Great, that's you. And maybe you have some of those people on your team that's their target and that's their end all be all. And that's beautiful. I know for us that where we are, we're not there yet. You know, we have some places that we want to go. I know for Garrain, it's like, he's like, what am I manifesting in my life? What am I creating? And for me, it's like, here are my goals. Here's what I want to achieve. Here's by when. And by having those clearly in front of us, it's like, it's so much bigger than right here. And then I come back and I do that day-to-day stuff, and I do the telegrams, and I do the emails, and I do the calls, and I do these promotional qualifier calls, and we're on the LDW, and it's like, why? Oh, that's why, because here's where we're going. Oh, that's why, here's our target. And all these little things will add up, and then it's going to bring me there. It may not make sense right now, and I might not be able to see the target. And some days it makes maybe feel like I'm going down the stairs backwards, and maybe it feels like I'm going down the stairs sideways. It doesn't matter, because it's like, all I need to know is what's in front of me. Regardless of how I get there, I know what the target is. I get to be detached of what it looks like of how I'm going to get to the target. That's all the time we have. And so